Hello, it's Christy Gray, your newest hype girl and astrologer. Welcome to the Cosmic Hotline.
Hello, gorgeous, and welcome to another episode of the Cosmic Hotline. This week, I'm jumping straight in because we have a listener question, and this one is a little bit longer, so I'm going to read it to you. Hi, Christy. I recently learned I have Saturn in my second house, and it makes sense. The last 10 years have been a struggle financially with loss of income, savings, and a failed family business. I figured what had happened was our luck of the draw, but now that I'm aware of Saturn's presence, I'm worried. Am I doomed financially for life? Will things always be tough for me? This question comes from Naomi, and she is a Scorpio sun. She has a Leo moon, and she is a Virgo ascendant. Now, before I dive into the specifics of her natal chart, I wanted to talk about Saturn in the second house. So Saturn is known as the planet of responsibility, hard work, discipline, and limitation. In astrology, the second house is associated with material possessions, personal finances, and values of you as an individual. When Saturn is in the second house of your natal chart, it can indicate a strong focus on financial matters and a need to, let's just say, establish a sense of security and stability in your life. If you have this placement, you may be naturally conservative with your money. You may also have a strong work ethic and a disciplined approach to financial matters. At the same time, though, Saturn in the second house can also indicate financial challenges, limitations, also difficulties with acquiring wealth, or a tendency to experience some form of financial setback in your life. You may also experience feelings of insecurity or inadequacy related to your financial situation. Overall, Saturn in the second house represents the need to take responsibility for your financial situation, to establish a strong sense of personal values and priorities, and I would say to work diligently towards financial security and stability. So you might be thinking, okay, Christy, but what are the positive impacts of having Saturn in the second house? Because the reality is you've already experienced some financial hardships, and there's nothing worse than thinking that you're doomed financially for life. Well, I'm here to tell you the opposite. And I wanted to share with you some positive impacts of having this placement. And I have 3 points I'm going to highlight for you. Number 1, you will have a strong work ethic and a disciplined approach to financial matters. Remember, Saturn is our greatest teacher. You're likely to be hardworking, I'll guess, Naomi. You're responsible and diligent when it comes to managing your finances. And you may be someone that's more likely to create and stick to a budget and save for the future. Number 2 is that you have this focus on financial stability and security. You may be motivated in life, and I definitely say by looking at your natal chart and all your second house placements, that you do want to establish a strong sense of financial stability and security. And the flow-on effect of this is that you may be cautious with your spending and prioritizing saving for the future. And I want to remind you that that's a good thing. And number 3 is I think that you'll have a tendency to be financially responsible and reliable, as I was highlighting before. I think that you'd be somebody that would be trusted to handle financial matters or maybe even be sought out for financial advice. Because I want you to remember that when you've been faced with challenges, it's always an opportunity for growth, and especially when Saturn is involved, as you are somebody that learns from experience. Just because you've made the mistake once doesn't mean you'll make it again. So guess what, Naomi? I have Saturn in my second house too, actually conjunct Pluto. I grew up really poor, like really poor. I had one of my parents, I saw them hoard money and also selfishly spend it on themselves without giving it to other people. While the other parent that I grew up with was in a constant state of fight or flight and survival and really had a scarcity mindset and felt that money was evil. And so I get it. I understand what it's like, and you just have more work to do when it comes to your money mindset. One thing that I felt that's been incredibly good for my relationship with money is budgeting. I've definitely had to develop some healthy financial habits. And especially because I have a Leo ascendant, I can sometimes spend money that I don't have, or actually, I'm going to reframe that. I used to spend money that I don't have. Now I have a great relationship with money. And I found that seeking professional advice helped me a lot too. I want to premise though, like I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I claim to be. I'm an astrologer. Instead, I have an incredible accountant that's helped me set up my business and company in a way that it operates in an abundant way today. But I thought it might be useful for me to share some of the further things that have helped me from a holistic perspective to better develop a relationship with money, because this comes from another Saturn in the second house, babe. Practicing gratitude has been a powerful way to shift my mindset towards abundance and away from scarcity. So every morning, I take some time to reflect on what I'm thankful for in my financial situation. And no matter how big or small, and what this allows me to do is focus on the positive aspects of my finances, but more importantly, increase my feelings of abundance. I use an app called the Morning app. I paid for the full version. I think that it cost me $9.99 for life. You can then put your own prompts in there in the morning, and I change these from time to time. But for most of last year, I actually had a prompt that was specifically contributing to my money mindset. And I want to share with you that I just came off my biggest month in my business to date in January of 2023. And it was such a beautiful feeling to be able to be in a place that felt really energetically aligned to wanting to help the people that I wanted to help astrologically, but also generate abundance throughout the process. Next up, I recommend positive affirmations. If you're here, you know that mantras and affirmations is something that I just absolutely love. And the positive words that we use or we repeat to ourselves regularly, they help to shift our thoughts and our beliefs towards a more positive mindset. Like, for example, one that I use is I am capable of creating wealth. Or another one is I trust in my ability to attract financial abundance. By working with positive affirmations, it can help to raise your vibration, and that is going to impact your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Something else worth considering is visualization. Visualization, I always find, is a powerful technique when you want to imagine yourself achieving your financial goals and experiencing financial abundance. When I am visualizing, it helps me to believe what's possible. And I feel like I have infinite possibilities. So, what can be sometimes useful is spending some time each day visualizing yourself in a positive financial situation. Do you feel happy? What are you wearing? How confident are you? And, what does that financial figure look like in your bank account? I've even gone as far as going onto Etsy, and on Etsy, you can actually purchase and print off checks from the Bank of Abundance. I'm actually going to share another tip with you, which has been so hilarious. However, it's been like every time I look at it, it makes me smile. I actually brought $100 bills off Etsy. They are made for a doll's house, but I have got like $2,400 worth of mini $100 bills, and they're all wrapped up. They look like super real, by the way, and I have them sitting on my desk next to my computer. Every time I look at them, they make me smile, and I instantly think, I am rich. and it just changes my frequency. Of course, we were talking about visualization and I got completely off track, but there is an app that I love, which is called Manifesty, and they have some amazing visualizations and meditations for abundance. Now, speaking of meditation, the next thing I wanted to highlight is mindfulness and practicing mindfulness because it can help you become really aware of your thoughts and your emotions around money. And I think what I found when I started practicing more mindfulness and I put a real focus on this last year is that it allowed me to cultivate and develop a greater sense of self awareness and increase my ability to make conscious decisions around money. So, what you may find useful is try incorporating a daily mindfulness practice, such as meditation, to help you to become more present and aware of your thoughts and emotions. And look, I'm a realist. Like, I don't expect you to do all of these things. It's about picking them up, putting them down based on what you intuitively feel. But you've probably noticed that there's a bit of a thread, and it's all around your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. I didn't want to leave it just there because I'm a big believer on education. And educating yourself about personal finance is so important to feel empowered and confident about managing your money. And there's so many free resources available online that can help, whether you're wanting to learn more about budgeting, saving, investing, and anything else. I wish that we'd learned that in school. I took like an accounting class in school. I think actually it was economics. And I don't think I learned anything relevant to the business that I run today. And I remember like back when I was living in Sydney and I was terrible with money. I'm not going to talk about it publicly now, but I did leave my corporate job with thousands. Like I'm talking over 30 grand's worth of debt when I started a business. And honestly, it was the most terrible mistake, but I just didn't have a good money mindset. And I've been able to absolutely turn that around in the last 5 years and be in a place of abundance. But that took time through me educating myself. I think I read like the first book I read was like The Barefoot Investor. There's another book that's amazing, which is I Can Teach You How to Be Rich. I love Jen Sincero's You're a Badass at Making Money. Like there's so many amazing books out there. But I'm also really big on tracking financial abundance as well. So like I have an app I think called Bill Watch that I use, which allows me to track all my incomings and outgoings on like a daily, a weekly, and a monthly basis. It's like a budget app. And I even have a spreadsheet. I know I'm like totally Virgo, but the last year, like my accounting definitely slipped with all my expenses in the business. The other day, I sat down because I had to do my tax and I ended up getting a spreadsheet off Etsy that I was able to input all of my data into, and it populates everything for me. It's like pastel colors. It's such a vibe. It's very KG. And I showed my accountant because I actually met with her last week and she was like, this is amazing. Like, where did you get this from? And I was like, I brought it for like $15 on Etsy. I feel like I've spooked Etsy a lot today, but you get the gist, right? There's so many different ways that you can support your finances, but more so take a positive and proactive approach to managing your money. So I've kind of just given you a whole lot of information, but I haven't gone specifically into your chart, which I'm about to do. But what I wanted to premise was this, is that I think that changing your money mindset takes time and effort. And it's really important to be patient with yourself and keep practicing these techniques consistently. Because look, doing these practices, it's not going to help you to win the lotto, like the Powerball tomorrow. I have to be honest. So like if you're in a dire financial situation, then please, like not just for Naomi, who this episode's based on today, but anybody that's listening, like go out and seek out advice because, practicing meditations and manifestations and affirmations isn't going to solve all your problems overnight. But what I would say is that when you do have the right support and the systems and processes in place over time, you start to notice a shift in your beliefs and, more importantly, your attitudes towards money. And that will help you to lead a greater life filled with financial abundance and success. So here's the cliffhanger to everything. Guess what, Naomi? The good news is you don't just have Saturn in your second house. You also have Pluto, the planet of transformation, Mercury, which is your thoughts and how you communicate and synthesize information. You have your Sun, which is your identity, which is representative of life goals and your purpose. And you have Venus, which is also related to money. And I want to say, as much as money can be a challenge for you, you also have the ability to attract it easily and you're good with it. At the moment, look, sure, I think you've got some lessons to learn because the South Node, which is representative of past life, what you need to let go of, it's going to be traveling through your second house. So you're going to start to feel that, because it's going to come in conjunct all of these planets that I just highlighted, it is an invitation for you to let go of anything that no longer serves you in relation to your relationship with money. So I wanted to kind of wrap up with this because this isn't just to do with your natal chart. This is also based on where you're at in your astrological cycle. And I wanted to give you some insight as to money and abundance for you in 2023. Essentially, you've got ample opportunities to build wealth this year. The caveat will be you need to ensure that you have the right people in your life and the right partnerships in place to support you getting there. If something doesn't feel right, whether you're in business or whether you're in a job, I want you to please trust your intuition because there is something better out there for you. You've got some work to do around the people in your life. And I think that when it comes to generating wealth and abundance, we want to always make sure that you've got the right people, the right collaborations, and the right partnerships to help you to get where you need to go. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, babes. I could talk about this all day, so I had to kind of rein it in. But I'll be back next week with an astrology forecast episode. As we're about to move into Pisces season, I need to give you the entire 411 on that. It's the final month of the astrological year before we embark on a new one. Plus, we have a Pisces new moon on the horizon. So until then, stay cosmic, babes.